Today, I visited the 13 Hongs in Hangzhou, and I was truly shocked. What happened to the once bustling 13 Hongs? There are now more salespeople than customers. When I visited in March, I felt like if you slowed down, you'd get trampled. Now the market is almost empty, and many stalls on the 4th, 5th, and 6th floors are vacant. What's going on? These are prime locations with rents costing hundreds of thousands a month, and many 6-month installments. This means millions are going to waste. It used to be nearly impossible to find an empty stall in 13 Hongs, but now it's deserted. It's only May. Has everyone decided to give up? The 13 Hongs garment wholesale market in Guangzhou's Liwan district is the largest fashion women's clothing wholesale market in China. It's said that for women's clothing priced between 200 and 500 yuan in China, 8 out of 10 pieces come from the 13 Hongs. The district is centered around 13 Hong Road, including Guyi Street, 13 Hangdolian Street, and Heping East Road Clothing Market, forming a logistics and commercial circle. It is the oldest clothing wholesale distribution center in Guangzhou. It consists of New China Building, Hongbantian Building, Guangyang Wholesale City, and more, with over 20,000 wholesale stalls. It engages in primary clothing wholesale, catering to secondary and tertiary wholesalers nationwide. In its heyday, thousands of tons of goods moved in and out daily, and the market saw hundreds of thousands of visitors. Its commercial reach extended across the country, Russia, and Southeast Asia. In previous years, spring was peak season for wholesale markets in the 13 Hongs, but no one expected the clothing market to be so bleak this year. It's only May, and it's already the off-season. Business is really tough right now. Many owners are struggling with whether to continue or not. If they do, they have to keep paying rent and shipping goods. If things go wrong, the losses could exceed the hundreds of thousands in deposits. Some owners prefer to give up their stalls. Others simply can't afford to restock. Everything they had is gone. Some are holding on to their money, waiting for a better time to resume. Others are so overwhelmed they don't know what to do, scared stiff by the market, and just want to leave quickly. I've been in this business for over 20 years. If I stop, I don't know what else I would do, so I have to lower my expectations and just try to make ends meet. It's not just the 13 Hongs. Many clothing industry bosses are struggling. This year's off-season is unusually long. Usually it doesn't start until July, but it's already off-season in May. Business is so bad it's hit rock bottom. In June, July, and August, the off-season will continue, and each day will be more painful. It's normal to go a whole day without making a sale, and going several days without one is common. We're just waiting for old customers now. There are hardly any new ones. It's really difficult. It's not my fault. There's no one on the streets. Even if you think there's some business and want to restock, you can't. Manufacturers have stopped, and primary and secondary wholesalers have stopped. What can you restock? Things are so bad this year. Out of 100 stores, maybe only 2 or 3 are doing well, whereas before it was the opposite.
If you hate someone, let them get into the clothing business. These past few years, it's been like shooting a horror movie. Always anxious, like committing a crime every day. Always suffering. I'm scared to go to the store, scared to open the doors, and I feel powerless. It's like you're drowning. Your feet can't touch the ground, and you can't swim. You're stuck. This sense of powerlessness is pervasive in the clothing industry. It's very painful. I'm not exaggerating. I truly believe it's really hard to be in the clothing business right now.
Industry insiders predict that 2024 will be the darkest period for the clothing industry. The closure rate for clothing wholesale markets is expected to reach 50%, for e-commerce about 60%, for live streaming 70%, and for physical stores 80%. Even those who survive will find it extremely difficult. The bleak business in the clothing consumer market naturally affects the upstream garment processing industry. This can be seen from the hiring situation in garment factories. Here, in the famous garment village Job Street in Guangzhou, hundreds of thousands of garment workers come daily searching for day jobs along this 5-kilometer-long recruitment corridor. On both sides of the road, garment factory owners stand with recruitment signs or sample clothes, waiting for workers to choose them. Workers who find suitable jobs will approach the owners to ask about wages and working hours. Once agreed, they follow the owners to nearby garment factories to start working, usually for over 10 hours straight, and get paid immediately after finishing. Recently, however, due to the early arrival of the off-season in the downstream clothing consumer market, garment factories are not getting orders. Now there are more workers than jobs, and the wages offered by the owners are getting lower. Finding a satisfactory day job is becoming increasingly difficult. In an interview, a man named Liu from Tianmen, Hubei said,
I just arrived in Guangzhou from my hometown a few days ago, and I've been job hunting ever since. It's really hard to find work this year, and the wages offered by the owners are low. A few days ago, I rented a place, and the rent is much higher than last year. It's nothing like what you see online. They say you can easily earn 7 to 800 yuan a day and make tens of thousands a month, but that's not realistic at all. People outside don't know how exhausting garment work is. When business was good in the previous years, we'd go out to eat with friends after work every day at a different restaurant. This year, I'm eating bucket rice every meal. We only know how tough it is.
Garment Village is located in the Kanglu area of Haizhu District, Guangzhou, and includes Kangla Village and Lujiang Village. It is adjacent to the Zhongda Fabric Market and the famous 13 Hongs Wholesale Market. Forming the Zhongda Textile Business Circle, a representative of Guangzhou's fashion industry and the largest textile processing and clothing retail market in Guangzhou. There's a saying, for textiles in China, look to Guangdong. For Guangdong textiles, look to Zhongda. On this roughly 1 square kilometer of land, more than 100,000 people reside, with over 5,200 garment factories and warehouse enterprises, and over 300,000 garment industry workers, 95% of whom are migrants, mostly from Hubei province. This is why the area is often called Hubei Village. The factories here are mostly small-scale family-run workshops housed in self-built village homes. Factory sizes range from a few dozen to a few hundred square meters, with those over 300 square meters considered large. Since the 1990s, this area has developed into a prosperous and mature garment village. Here, every need from recruitment, production, and transportation to the daily lives of owners and workers can be met in this confined space. For years, Garment Village has used a mix of fixed long-term workers and a large number of daily wage workers, attracting many laborers with its unique piece rate system. This day labor model means that workers are hired as orders come in, keeping labor costs controllable for owners. For workers, daily wages are higher and there's more flexibility. Typically, a skilled garment worker earns about 400 to 500 yuan a day, with some making over 1,000 yuan. This results in the impressive daily scene of tens of thousands of people job hunting on Kanglu Job Street. Due to the large-scale labor market, not only do garment factories in the Kanglu area recruit here, but also factories from other parts of Guangzhou. In addition to factory owners and job seekers, clients also come to this recruitment market. They usually bring sample clothes and discuss potential cooperation with factory owners on the spot, which is the most common way for the garment district to receive orders. The prosperity and development of the garment village are inseparable from the mature industrial supply chain around it, particularly the vast Zhongda fabric market, which is the foundation for Garment Village's survival. The Zhongda Fabric Market is a collective name for a super-large market with over 100,000 product categories and more than 50 submarkets, making it the largest fabric and accessory market in China. It includes markets such as the International Textile City, Homian Zhongda Gate, Yangtze International Textile City, Pearl River International Textile City, and Zhongda Jiuzhou Textile City. Covering an area of about 2 square kilometers, it houses over 20,000 manufacturers and merchants, with more than 100,000 direct employees and an annual transaction volume exceeding 200 billion yuan. The proximity to Zhongda Fabric Market allows garment factory owners in the garment village to easily and quickly procure the necessary fabric materials. Additionally, Garment Village is very close to 13 Hongs and Shahe clothing wholesale markets, and even trips to Guangzhou's Baiyun and Panyu districts take at most half a day. These unique advantages form the distinctive feature of the Garment Village, which is small orders, quick response. This means that even orders as small as a few pieces will be accepted, with the capability of receiving orders in the morning, delivering goods in the evening. This is one of the Garment Village's core competitive strengths. When a fashionable clothing item becomes popular in the market, clients can place an order at Zhongda Textile Business Circle for fabrics and accessories in the morning and place an order at a factory in the Kanglu area. They can expect to receive the finished goods by the evening. This is why, when a major brand releases a new item, knockoffs can be seen on the streets within 2 or 3 days. Cheng Weiqiang, the owner of a garment factory in the Garment Village, mentioned in an interview with mainland Chinese media, in the early years, customers mainly came from nearby wholesale market stalls. Later, orders came from Taobao and Douyin, with some customers being live streamers who ordered several hundred pieces at a time. If we receive fabric tonight, we can deliver goods by tomorrow night. Chen Weiqiang explained that expanding the factory size could be detrimental due to the high rent. Rent in this area is extremely expensive, costing 50 to 60 yuan per square meter. For a factory around 200 square meters, fixed expenses, including water, electricity, and garbage fees, can reach 20,000 yuan per month, not counting worker wages. He believes that the small orders quick response model in the garment village was driven by the internet. He recalled that in 2010, after working in a factory in Kangla village for 5 years and rising to a managerial position, he decided to start his own factory. From 2010 to 2012, he earned 900,000 yuan over 2 years. Back then, he only served 2 or 3 clients annually, and his customers would stay even if they launched popular items. Now he has to find a new client every 3 days. Chen Weiqiang said, now, with the rapid spread of information on the internet, a popular item in a stall is copied within 2 days. The industry is highly competitive, and factories have to respond increasingly quickly or they won't survive. Factory owners in the village need to work very hard to make money. After delivering goods at night, workers have to pack and deliver them themselves, often working until 3 or 4 in the morning, and then continue looking for clients the next day. The development of Garment Village has also benefited from the growth of Guangzhou's textile and garment industry. After China joined the World Trade Organization in 2001, Guangzhou's textile and garment industry experienced explosive growth. Data shows that in 1999, Guangzhou produced 68,000 garments annually, which peaked at 720 million in 2013, a 10,000-fold increase in just over a decade. From wholesale markets and fabric markets to garment factories, the entire industrial chain grew in tandem. Goods flowed like water, and wealth quickly accumulated here. For example, the annual rent for storefronts facing the street in the Zhongda fabric market is 1 to 2 million yuan, but merchants can easily earn over 10 million yuan in revenue. There was also a tradition of cash transactions, and one Zhongda fabric market owner recalled that some large merchants had to hire 2 armored cars daily to transport the cash collected at their stalls. However, after 2014, China's clothing industry declined. The first impact was the lack of orders for garment factories due to a sluggish consumer market. Intense competition led to inevitable price wars. If making a pair of pants used to cost 5 yuan, someone would offer 4.5 yuan, and others would undercut even further. In the textile and clothing supply chain, small and medium garment factories are at the bottom of the value chain. They lack strong design capabilities and sales channels, making their profit margins very slim. Every cost component, including fabric, accessories, and labor, is highly transparent, and the price quoted for clothing companies already cover these costs, leaving little profit for garment factories. Additionally, labor costs and rent have been continuously rising, making it difficult for many garment factories to sustain themselves. Notice boards on the streets of Kangla village are densely covered with advertisements for transferring factories and equipment. Currently, Garment Village not only faces a lack of orders, but also a bigger problem: demolition. Kangla and Lujiang villages were listed by the Guangzhou government as one of the old house renovation projects in 2018, known as the Fenghe Urban Village Renovation Project. After the renovation, the garment industry will no longer be the main business here, which means that the garment factories and related industries concentrated here have to relocate. Due to issues related to demolition compensation, the demolition process has been slow. Some buildings only started being demolished at the end of 2022. Now, videos taken by locals show that some areas of the urban village have already been demolished. Some of the buildings that haven't been demolished have the word demolish spray painted on them and banners stating urban village renovation, demolition imminent, transfer of factories strictly prohibited. Videos show that the once bustling garment village is becoming a wasteland. Garment factory owners who have struggled here for decades are now forced to leave this convenient supply chain, facing tough decisions about where to go next. The prosperity of Kangla and Lujiang villages was due to their unique geographical advantages, which now also make their relocation challenging. According to Chinese media reports, the workers and small factory owners here now have 2 options. First, they can move 80 kilometers north to Qingyuan, which borders Guangzhou. Qingyuan's brand new industrial parks are ready, offering various incentives and reward policies. Second, since 80% of workers here are from Hubei, the local government in Hubei is also extending an olive branch, hoping to attract these factories to Hubei. However, whether moving to Qingyuan or returning to Hubei, relocating the textile and garment industry from the Konglu area is far from smooth. Qingyuan might seem ready, but issues with the industrial ecosystem, logistics, and recruitment remain. Konglu Village is noisy and crowded but convenient for daily life, while Qing is spacious and bright but feels like an isolated suburban island. Returning to Hubei is also problematic. Over half of the factories in Konglu Village rely on traditional wholesale markets like Shahe and 13 Hangs, with fast delivery as their lifeline. Moving to Hubei would eliminate these competitive advantages. Additionally, upstream material supply is a significant issue. In Hubei, where the industrial chain is not well developed, extra transportation costs and order shortages could crush small factories. Thus, whether relocating to Qingyuan or Hubei, transplanting an industry is as difficult as a heart transplant. Regardless of their choice, the once leading garment village in China is destined to disappear into history, becoming a lasting memory for generations of garment workers.